These mutilations are being done for a reason. Through this investigation, we found out, and it took me 2 years for us to understand it, take it all in. And what you're going to be hearing in the next couple hours, it's going to hit you hard, man. It's going to be like, but we had to learn this all in 2 years, so it's a little different. But nevertheless, I'm just trying to be as transparent as I can, bring the law enforcement aspect into this and investigate it in a way no one else has done before, just to see what we get. Well, we got. I think my whole life has set me up for this exact thing. 1991 or 1992 is kind of when everything changed for me. It's when I received a videotape in the mail that came with no return address. And so I popped this thing in, my VCR, and it just happens to be this guy with glasses talking in front of a whiteboard. And he's describing how he used to be part of a back engineering team out at a base called S4 by Groom Lake, which is off of Area 51, he said. You got to fly into Area 51 and get bused to this remote hidden base that he's investigating. And he said that he has investigated downed spacecraft and recovered spacecraft from other planets. And he described how they're able to travel great distances. And I believed every word that guy said. His name was Bob Lazar.
Please talk to me.
What we've uncovered on this investigation is fucking gargantuous.
Wow.
And everything I say is all on video, man. Everything.
I know, I've heard them a lot around this place.
Well,
I used to live in that old house there, and boy, they were all over in that thing.
what really?
Oh yeah, I'd wake up and see shadows standing over me.
And what house was this?
That old white one there.
My name is Greg Feinman. I'm with UOR Investigations Paranormal. I was a paramedic for nearly 30 years of my life. I was a deputy coroner for about 14 years of my life. I was a cop for about 13 years of my life. And everything required some sort of report writing. That's what allows me to do this the right way, that I feel the right way. I worked with the Los Animas County Sheriff's Department between the years of 99 and 03. And during that time frame, I was dispatched on several, they call them cattle mutilations. These cows are completely cut up. That's why they call them mutilated. And there's not one drop of blood anywhere around this cow. Organs are missing. Sometimes there's no rhyme or reason. A lot of times they're reproductive organs. But how they're taken is they're taken with precision. These appear to be laser induced, incisions. Looking at this cow, it was killed somewhere else because its own tracks weren't there. All right, it means it was placed there. And there is no evidence anywhere of anything that could possibly lift a cow and put it in that location without leaving some sort of tracks. Even a helicopter would leave wash marks. But that being said, our job wasn't to figure it out. Our job was to take photos, to do a report, no follow-up report, no investigation, no nothing, but owner information, take photos, and that's it. That's what we did on the ones that we handled. And I didn't get to investigate it the way I wanted to, and I had unanswered questions. And it stayed with me for a long time. And I thought, man, if I ever get a chance, man, I'd like to look into it myself and give it the investigation that it deserves. That's what prepared me for exactly what I'm doing right now. My whole life is actually led up to this very point. In 2008, I woke up overnight with rheumatoid arthritis, and 3 months from my diagnosis, I had to retire disabled with through my pension, and that was it for law enforcement for me in 2008. In 2010 to 2016, I left Colorado, but when I came back in 2016, and immediately when I got here, I started waking up at 4 in the morning. I don't wake up at 4 in the morning if my house is on fire most of the time. And I'm all of a sudden waking up at 4 in the morning. And I start working on wanting to investigate these cattle mutilations. I had called around different cattle ranches asking if I can investigate their ranch. And all of them said, oh, you need to talk to so-and-so. So I called that rancher and left a message, and he called me back the next morning at about 7 in the morning. Tom Miller, I've been in contact with, I've known for about 3 months now, and boy, he's got an interesting story. I wanted to investigate his ranch, and I wanted to do it in a way that had never been done before. And he admitted to having 16 mutilations.
But the first one that I really noticed was we had the cattle out there in this patch here. And we seen one laying down. And we went out there and it was dead. And I looked at it more. And that thing had, the eyes were gone. The tongue was gone. It had a hole in the rear end. And one ear was gone. And I just didn't know what happened, but it wasn't normal. That was in 1996.
I wanted to get photos of each cow and get an age of each cow, and which I did. I got an age, how old they are, what type of cow they are, all that. And while I was out there doing that, the rancher just kind of says, "Oh, by the way, Chuck Zukowski has been out investigating these before."
And so I got in touch with him, and he would, every time I would have one, he would come out and investigate it, because I didn't want to say, oh, that was mutilated, and it wasn't. So he would he would confirm that it was mutilated or whatever. And since that time, I think I lost 16 head on that that were mutilated, that were actually mutilated. One other instance, I found 2 of them together, but one was her back was broke and she was still alive, and the other one was laying right next to her, and it was completely mutilated.
Now, here's the thing. There's a 1 mile stretch of highway that crosses this property that I didn't know about at first. And he said on that 1 mile stretch, prior to 2005, there's been 16 traffic accident related deaths. Now, when he said that, soon as he said that, that whole investigation to me changed.
For being a mile and that many people being killed on a straight highway, it just doesn't make sense.
What it really took to make my idea happen was a person that had God-given abilities. That's how I wanted to investigate these differently than anyone else, these mutilations. I needed, not just wanted, needed someone who had abilities. I was given this number to a person that, they claimed had abilities, and I made that phone call. And little did I know how much that phone call was going to change my life. I basically tell her that her assistance is paramount importance on how I wanted to do my investigations. And could she be here like tomorrow? Because I really need her on something. And she said yes.
We'll show our commitment by showing up in the cold. We will. My name is Susan Gutierrez. I actually go by Mama Sue though, and that comes from me having 3 children. My oldest daughter has always called me Mom, and my second daughter calls me Mother to this day, but she loves me. And my son always called me Mama. Well, my son has been gone since '05, and I was expressing about a year afterwards to just some of my daughter's friends that I missed hearing the Mama. And that's when my name began, Mama Sue.
And she said that she's had these abilities ever since she was 2 years old. And she tucked them away until she was about 30.
When I was a little girl, I can remember now, 3, 4 years old even, and my parents saying, "Susie, who are you talking to?" And I'd be like, "My friend," and because I would see spirits, and I would see them in their death state. And because it happened to me at a young age, I guess, it didn't bother me. It didn't scare me to see somebody with just half a face or their guts hanging out. It just didn't bother me, because to me that was normal. Well, my parents getting upset about it made me just say, okay, I'm not going to do it anymore.
She is one of the most amazing people I've ever met in my entire life. We were going out one night and it was cold, and Sue asked for some cold weather leggings, that I had. And so I went and I gave them to her, and she goes,
I look at them.
She goes, "Well, do these go on the inside or the outside?" I was like, oh man, how they go on the inside, gosh darn it, because I wanted to say, well, honey, they go on the outside, and then go up to the, go up to the gas station to get our food, and her walking around like that would have been priceless. But I blew it.
Yeah,
I was like, no, I better not, man.
That's one thing
mean-
about me. I am sincerely lenient. I don't even try. Okay, it just happens.
She gets here, and then I said, well, the reason I have you here is I'm going to be taking you out to the site of a cattle mutilation today. And she started clapping her hands, couldn't wait to get out there. She tells me that I might not want her because she doesn't know anything about cattle mutilations, anything about cryptids, anything about anything. And I said, honey, I don't want you to know anything. I said, it's what you pick up. That's what I want you to know. Because no one has tried this before. She also said she wanted more of a part in this. She wanted to be from the beginning. She wanted to be in on every investigation from the beginning all the way through it. I was like, oh, thank you, God. Like I was so happy.
I knew that this was something I was supposed to have done all my life. I did not know at the time that the cattle mutilations were going to be involved with alien activity. However, something inside of me must have known, because simply cattle mutilation didn't interest me that much, but getting to the bottom of why did.
I couldn't have found a better person, but I had to make sure she was a real deal. So that being said, we get out there, we walk her down to the site where one occurred, where there was bones of the cow that was killed still there, spread out. And we walk her down to this little trail down to where those bones are. And she asks, can I pick up a bone? The rancher says, sure. So she picks it up. I mean, the second she picked it up, her voice started quivering. She got goosebumps.
And these bones are from it.
Oh boy, this cow was scared to death. Holy mackerel. I picked up a bone. Oh my heavens. The things that came into my mind, it was like I was seeing a movie in my mind, but I was there. I was a witness. My face, wow, I just got the weirdest rush through my whole face and head. I gotta admit, the very first time it shook me up. Ooh, that thing. The very first thing I picked up on was the cow's anxiety. I was crying for the cows, the way that they felt. They were scared to death.
And then she says that it's a craft that comes in about 30 feet off the ground, and a light comes out and it encompasses the cow.
And it's like it probably 30 feet up, stopped. This light completely surrounds that cow. And just like that, it's gone. The cow's gone, the ship's gone, everything's gone. Oh God, that fear, that I could feel that cow's fear. It's unbelievable. Oh God. One of the first things they did is they drained the blood. I mean, just like, it was just like that, just out. And they think that they need to use that. They're trying to, oh my God, is that what's going on? They are trying to create life.
She said what they're doing with the blood.
Oh my God. Thinking that they can use bovine blood for something that would appear to be human, but it's not. It doesn't have a soul. What they create does not have souls. It can't, because these are, I don't know. It's the grays.
Clones.
It's the grays.
They're clones.
They're clones. Oh my God, no. Oh my God. They're actually taking people. They're taking people as well. You know, these children that go missing, even adults, that's where they're going, a good deal of them. And they are experimenting on them, trying to create life. They're just trying all kinds of crazy shit. Oh, the poor people, they're so afraid. They were so afraid. They're not alive. They're not alive now. Oh, Lord. Now, to me, my first thing was, I was like, they're like mad scientists, you know. I didn't know them yet. And then as soon as they evacuate the blood, they do some real quick, they take an ear, they take an eye, they do these precision cuts. Then they drop the carcass from quite a height.
And that was the first reading that we got. What we learned later is that she didn't get that information psychically. She didn't get it on her own ability. The information she got, it was given to her telepathically. She got it telepathically. And the difference between telepathic and psychic is psychic, you get it on your own. Telepathic, the information's being given to you. And that day, maybe even before that day, a link was established.
We need to communicate with you. I'm asking you to communicate with me. Speak through me. You may use my mouth. Please come to us. Do you remember me? I know you remember Tom. I know that's why you come.
I had to form a theory, all right? And the theory was I believed I could pick which cow would be next to be killed. And the reason being is because my experience, these cows have been marked prior to being killed. They're also tested high in radiation after they're killed.
Pick up anything?
It is picking up radiation.
Oh, it is.
It is.
So my theory was that when whoever is in contact with marking them, they're going to leave trace radiation behind. I wanted to blacklight a cow, and if I found markings, then I would test it for radiation. One of the things I learned in law enforcement is if you didn't put it on paper, it didn't happen. In order to do it the right way, it requires an enormous amount of paperwork. Every night that I go out to investigate, I'm going to need to fill out a report. If someone witnesses something, I need to give them a form to fill out. And so I made reports, I made follow-up reports, I made supplemental reports, forms, all done on the computer.
I put everything in here that we've done.
Yeah.
And I was saying I have about 100 pages that I've typed, but I think I've got more, man. I think I underestimated because these are all since, since, and I've done it chronologically. That's why your cows are here, and I even started off, the information on your property, a little bit about what a cow is.
It had to be done in a way that brought the law enforcement aspect into this, where it's nothing but the facts. The team, in order to build it, it required an enormous amount of equipment to buy, because you just don't know what you're going to come into, fall into. So, I basically got all the equipment necessary to complete a paranormal investigation.
You never know when you're going to need one of these.
November 2nd, 2020, I received a phone call from Tom Miller, the rancher, and he says, "Hey, Greg, I just want you to know that I found a cow dead out on the ranch, and there's not much left of it. Just wanted you to know." And I said, "Tom, I'll be there in 2 seconds."
But the one thing that really, you see how the ear is shaved off.
Okay, well,
That's how all the others
It's-
are, just like that.
But the whole top part of the hide was missing. Now, I know that some of it could have been some shrinkage or whatever, but there was an obvious pattern. And not only that, there was a pattern on the left chest, like a square pattern missing. And then Tom started pointing out all the other similarities that this one had that his others had.
Most all the mutilated cattle that I found that I know are mutilated, they have this hole right here where they get into the chest cavity.
okay, and not only that, but look at what's taken too. The same thing taken around the mouth.
Yeah, that's real familiar.
I see that all the time with
But especially this ear. See, it looks like it's been shaved off or something. It looks different. And usually that's what they do to those ears. Just shave them off.
Man, it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a long.
This
Maybe
is
it was more than a month ago.
Check this out. Check the indentation in the ground. That thing's indented.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Kind of.
Look at that, right there, man. It went down.
Yeah, and the
It's
back,
indented. It's all indented.
especially here. Look at
Yeah.
how this is.
Yeah.
So that could be that it was dropped.
And then I said, "Well, Tom, let's fan out. Let's see if we can find any of that hide, any part of the hide that might have been missing. Let's see if we can find, anything out of the ordinary." Well, it didn't take more than 2 seconds before Tom said, "I found something."
Okay, and where was it now? Where'd it go?
Right there.
Oh, there it is. All right. That was a good find.
And the bone was in a U-shaped pattern that had holes on both sides of it. So I took it to a vet, and local vet here, and had him identify this bone.
Almost
looks like a pelvis.
Is that? Well, it's very small of a cow. It's only about that big. It almost looks like, I thought it was a highway bone. I've left it still out there. We had a mutilation the other day. So,
Yeah, I
anyways,
would have to guess that she was probably pregnant, and it's a pelvis.
that is
to
so
look at.
interesting.
Looking at that, that's what I would say.
Well, I thank you for your time.
All right.
Really, thank you, man. Sorry to bother you.
That was all we found of that one calf, was the one bone. So that being said, I get Mama Sue out a couple days later. November 7th, 2020. It's 14:50 hours, and myself and Sue, or Mama Sue, are headed out to the mutilation site out at the Miller Ranch to do a reading. And I'm going to be recovering a bone out there that is, we believe, to be a pelvis from an unborn calf, but it's yet to be positively identified. A veterinarian identified it rather quickly by a photo, but that's not good enough for me. I want positive identification on this bone. She gets out there, she gets close to the cow, and she starts crying as if a mother lost her child. She was able to describe through the eyes of that cow what happened to it. She said that the clouds start rolling in, and when they start rolling in, they start coming in thick. The cows start getting really uptight and skittish. And she said that the cow, once the clouds came in, the cow looked up and saw lights coming through the clouds. And when they do, all the cows just scatter in every direction. And she was running away going, don't pick me, don't pick me, don't pick me, is what she was thinking. And then she got. And Sue is crying. I've never felt this before, she said, but all I can tell you is just as I feel the spirit of a person, I feel the spirit of this cow, and it's mourning the loss of its unborn calf right now. And it made me think of cows completely different after that. And I got to say that there was a television crew that came out, and while they were out there, they put REM pods around that cow. And they put an EMF meter on top of that cow. And it started going off. The EMF meter started tripping, and one REM pod went off. Now, that could have been one of two things. It could be the spirit of that cow, that bovine, that mourning the loss of its unborn calf, or it could be the spirit of a missing woman that we came in contact with on this ranch as well. And that's a whole nother story.
Where's Susie Q at? Where's Susie Q? Oh, where do you guys go? Here you go. Beggars. Beggers, both of you. And where's Susie? Come here, Susie. Come here, Susie. Come here. Come here, honey. Here she comes. Come here. She even likes the treats too.
One day I was outside of my front porch. I felt like I was being watched. I mean, it was an overwhelming feeling of being watched. So I started recording with my camera. I just want a sign, guys. What can you do right this second that could show me? You know, like a big old lightning strike right in front of me. Oh, shit, okay. Okay, you're watching.
Big old lightning strike right in front of me. Ooh.
Big old lightning strike right in front of me. Lightning strike right square in front of me.
I think you remember saying that Fitz, friends in the sky usually come when there are thunderstorms. Any particular reason why?
Well, they said the day that I got the lightning strike that they gave me, Mama Sue got at the same time I was getting the lightning strike, she was getting "We Come with the Storms." All right, and she was on her way down for us to do an investigation that night. And I called her to tell her about the lightning strike, and she was trying to tell me about what she got. And we were both wanting to tell each other what we got. And I said, well, you first. No, you tell me. And so I told first, and then she said what she said, that they come with the storms. And the reason is what we do know, we said that the craft comes in about 30 feet off the ground, but it comes in looking like a low-lying cloud.
Again, there's a 1 mile stretch of highway that crosses Tom Miller's property on Mutilation Ranch. Prior to 2005, there was 15 traffic accident related deaths on that 1 mile stretch of highway, one of which the rancher witnessed.
You witnessed one specific accident, correct? Can you tell me about that accident?
Yeah. Yeah, I was across the highway working at a corral, and I just happened to glance up, and this vehicle it looked like it was off the ground a foot or two, and kind of sideways. And it came down, and as soon as it came down, of course, it was sideways, and it spun like that, and a woman was killed there. But I don't know what happened before. I didn't see the
coming down. I just happened to glance up when that thing was up, whether maybe she swerved or what. But it just looked so strange. I just happened to glance up, and that thing was up in the air, and boom, rolled.
Because of that, I took Mama Sue to that location to just get a feel on what we might find out there. Mama Sue, about 2 minutes later, says, "Oh, I just saw something walk between me and you. I didn't get a good look at the man, but the woman I saw clearly. She was Hispanic, about 5'5", 5'8", wearing a cowboy hat, black hair."
The day that I saw this young girl standing beside me,
What'd you see now?
the dark outline, the whole darkness, as though it was a real person. I kept asking her, "What is your name? What is your name? Can you give me your name? Come on, use the energy. Use the energy."
There it is.
There it is. See? Oh, hello. Thank you for being so cooperative. She told me, Maria Elena, Maria Elena, Maria Elena. 3 times, just like that. So I assumed that was her name. Okay. Didn't get much more that night.
About a month later goes by. I think it was June 24th. 2020, we went out there. Sue gets out and says, "I'm getting some, but it's kind of weak."
Do you have any questions you want to ask me?
Sue says, "Is this Maria?" And it lights up.
Is this you? A couple days later, I'm looking through my phone and I get this, you know how you can join different groups, and one of them was a group that missing without a trace. Now, what made me join that group is beyond me, but I joined it. Start looking. 3rd person I pull up is her. But what caught my attention first was not, I didn't see her picture yet. I saw Maria Elena at the top of the Missing Without a Trace poster. Apparently, Maria Elena is the one who put out the poster. That's what was so crazy about it, because then she would tell me her real name.
So we go back out to the site armed with that information.
That was her name, she said. So although she told me originally Maria Elena, I would have never found her.
Why the whole mystery?
Yeah.
Why couldn't you just said Monica?
Yeah.
Probably because we would have had to look. We had to look into it. Maybe that's why. Maybe because it was listed as Maria Elena.
Yeah.
And we needed to know that.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. I wouldn't have found it the same way. Definitely. That was pretty neat. So I'm very anxious to get in touch with her and have her feed us to some of the bones, and then we can try to help her have her closure and her family have their closure.
Well, we're gonna find something.
Oh yeah.
And we started asking her questions.
Please give us some detail we can prove.
We were trying to ask her to, please come forward, and why. We said, "How are we getting you? How did you die in a traffic accident?" She said, "No. I was coming out of a convenience store when 2 women feigning vehicle trouble lured me to their vehicle."
I need to know who took you? Who took you?
The 2 women, she said, they stuck a needle in, I'll just say it like she said it, they stuck a needle in my neck jammed a needle in my neck, and completely incapacitated me. From that moment, they put me in the vehicle and they took me to a town about 15 miles from Trinidad, Colorado. And there they met up with 3 individuals. Now, during that time, they had to re-inject her with the chemical restraint. And they met up with 3 male individuals. One of them was wearing a cowboy hat, and one of them was wearing a machete.
I'm like seeing like a fight, like her. I mean, just really going off, trying to fight them off. 3 men.
And these men were under contract to deliver her somewhere. And instead, they took her to an unknown location in the town and took her to like a warehouse. They killed her and they dismembered her body. Okay, they dismembered her body and they put them in black plastic bags. All right, and they put them in the back of the vehicle they had. They went right down to where we're investigating, right to that bridge, and threw her body in that river.
They cut it up there and they brought it over here. But they did not, what am I trying to say? It wasn't the intention. They knew that there was going to be hell to pay. One of them even said that for having killed her, because she was big money. She was big money to somebody.
For sex trade, or
Yes.
just like the human trafficking?
Sex trade. Sex trade.
God.
Yes.
Didn't make sense because the time that I was working the ranch and being out at the ranch, I never saw that river run, and it only runs when the Trinidad Lake Dam is opened up. I couldn't find anyone missing. I was still, I didn't know what to do. But then I get another call from Mama Sue. And Mama Sue says, Greg, my nephew just came up to me and told me we had the right person but wrong name. The name you're looking for, and she gave the first name of Monica. And that's as far as I'll go. So she calls me and tells me this, and I start checking it out on, I start Googling it, and sure as heck, up pops her photo, just like the one that she saw in the missing persons photo. Went missing January 2nd or January 3rd at 18:45 hours, at 6:45 p.m. I had to figure out if that river was running, so I looked it up to see if there was a flow report for the river, and there is. And I looked it up and I typed in the dates, January 3rd to January 6th, 2019. And January 4th at 10 a.m., they opened up that dam. Now, if you do the math, either the 2nd or 3rd that they left from the state of Arizona and went to the area close to Trinidad. And from there, she was taken to a warehouse, sexually assaulted. They killed her. They had to come up with a plan and everything. And by the time they got her out there, they were just wanting to get rid of her. And it was the early morning hours of probably January 5th. And when they got to that bridge and they looked over that railing, it was over the floodplains, and they had no problem putting her body in there. I can see how that fits now. Now it fits. Now I've got to hear myself. I've got to call that police department and tell them what the information I have. Listen, I can hear myself telling the story. I was a cop. I was very disappointed in the reaction that I got. I told the detective everything I just said, and he said nothing I said was actionable. And I told him, you can't use the word actionable on me. All right, that's just a $5 word for you ain't gonna do jack shit, huh? It was up to me. I started trying to get down into that creek, but I was having a hard time because I was disabled.
Well, I think that will be best. We'll both put on boots. We'll go up there, and then we'll walk down. And then when we come back, we'll have to walk back up to the vehicle.
That's fine.
Then we can look along the bank as we're walking back up.
Okay.
Hey, what's up, Greg?
Hey, Dan. Well, it's funny you called because I'm out at the waterway right now. Me and Tom are, and we're going to be walking from the bridge as far down as we can. And looking for body parts, man. So I can't wait for, right now. I mean, when everyone gets here, we'll look again, with more people. But I don't know when the next rain's going to be coming in, man. And all it takes is one good rain and this river is back up again.
Right.
And
that's exactly what I was thinking when you were talking about a grid search. It's like, well, maybe just do an initial survey first, just down the river, because you might spot something just an initial survey, before you actually do an actual grid search.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I thought maybe it's as easy as just going down there,
Right.
and looking, because they're in trash bags, and we're talking about a whole body.
My name is Dan Lindholm, and I've known Greg Feinman pretty much all my life. It's pretty amazing all the intersections that have happened throughout our lives.
He has a similar field as I do, where he investigates Sasquatch.
To about 10 years ago, I started this YouTube channel called Big Truth, and I got hooked up with Mr. Ed Brown. We were rolling, doing lots of interviews with famous people in the Bigfoot community. A lot of people in the Bigfoot community are familiar with the name Big Truth.
Because of the projects he was working on and stuff, I thought maybe I could talk to him and get some pointers or whatever, and I need some, help. Matter of fact, one night we asked, Dan asked me, next time you guys are out with Fitz, talking to him, ask him if they're interdimensional. So next time we were out there, we asked him, and we didn't get a response right away, but we got a response later. Sue called me, and she said, Greg, we got an answer if they're interdimensional or not, and we also got a bonus answer. Yes, they are interdimensional, Fitz. And they said, so is Sasquatch. And we have relation.
Little ways into this investigation, when we were getting close to the Monica area, section of it, and he had told me all about how she had contacted this woman out there, and he told me the name that Maria Elena that they were looking for. And for some reason, at work in Medford, Oregon, I stopped at the little corkboard where they'd hang, for sale or lawn care or whatever signs, and there was a missing persons poster up there. And at the time, it caught my eye because I was wondering why the poster would even be like in Oregon, because it was so far away where she disappeared from. But I thought, maybe it's a national thing, or, for some reason it caught my eye, and I read the whole thing. I read her name and age, and it hit me it was really sad that she had disappeared. And then he tells me that they know her body's in that river or in that riverbed, and that they are out there trying to find her body.
And he decided to come down all the way from Oregon to help us look for a body to try to prove this.
And it's Greg. It's my brother. And it's Sue. And I couldn't let them do it. I couldn't let them out there. Both of them are physically incapacitated. They can't get around good at all. And I'm picturing Greg trying to get up, out of there. Anyway, I felt a need to come help him. So I made a plan, and I took some time off of work, and I came down here specifically to try to help him. Sorry. I hate this shit.
Dan comes in October of 2020. He comes out.
You don't want it? It's good.
I don't like bacon.
You don't like bacon?
It's becoming more and more evident that Bigfoot and some of this paranormal stuff are somehow connected because they just always happen in the same places. Or it could be as simple as, like, if it is some kind of a portal that's involved, the Bigfoot is somehow just attracted naturally to the portal area, and then these other things are all happening because of the portal. You know, it's just wide open. You have there's theories everywhere. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. You know, that's what this is. This is groundbreaking because if we can create an environment where this psychic, it's undeniable what she can do with this murder case. If we can come up with a body, then her abilities are going to be at that point undeniable.
That's right.
And then when she tells people what she's learned about the aliens and that, it's gonna be substantial. It's gonna blow people's minds. It's gonna be a really big thing.
Things open.
Immediately when he gets here, we start having experiences.
Greg takes me downstairs and starts showing me all of his equipment. And he's going through one and then the other, you know, showing me his cool like boom mics and all his different cameras. And he gets to an item that's called the portal.
And it's a device that plays messages backwards, and the spirit supposedly can pick which one best represents their voice. That being said, I turned this thing on, and just as I was turning it on, Dan had made a joke.
And I just said, you know, unless it's all bullshit. And I was talking about the case of the missing woman and whether Sue's psychic ability was, you know, for real. And I was just playing devil's advocate and making a joke.
And just as he said that, right out of the speaker that I'm holding on to from the portal device, clear as day comes, "Oh, I think not."
A woman's voice comes out of the portal and says, "Oh, I think not." And I was like, whoa. And Greg's all, no, we got to put it away. We don't have Sue here. She needs to be able to tell us what's going on and what we're talking about. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I've never, ever experienced anything like that in my life. It was freaking crazy.
You know, and from that moment, Dan felt like he was being held on to like someone was holding on to his shoulder. I took a photo of Dan while he was in our living room, and man, right in front of him, there's this huge, I mean, it looks like this big, looks like an orb.
So after we were downstairs and we had this experience, we came upstairs and Greg started showing me all of his reports and all the pictures of the cows and everything he had so far. And we came to the missing persons picture of Monica. And I was stunned because somehow, some way, that was the poster that I was looking at in Medford, Oregon, in the hallway at my work. Now, I don't know how that happened, but somehow I was given a heads up.
It is October 12th, 2020. It's 16:07 hours, and we are at the bridge, and we're looking for remains. Dan has came all the way from Oregon to be my legs and to find her. All right. What do you think, Dan?
I'm here to find a body. I think it's going to happen. I feel real confident. This waterway is not very wide right through here, and it's lined with trees, and I just have a real good feeling that I'm going to find something caught in those trees. And how do we know about this? It's psychic. And that's what all this investigation is based on. This is kind of a do or die moment to give this person who may have extraordinary powers true legitimacy if we find a body out here.
All right, man.
Well, Greg, wish me luck.
Will do. Good luck, man.
Have we gone far enough, or did we go not far enough? Not.
Maybe we'll have more luck with Sue, bro. Big truth out.
If I ever meet them face to face, that I will kneel down, and because I just want them to touch
Just
my
like-
head.
Yes.
I want to touch their head. It's out of respect. I
Yes.
don't worship them.
No, not like
but
God,
I respect them
God, no.
like a almost like a near God kind of thing. Not a God, but but it's just the respect of their knowledge, just showing, hey man, you are far greater than I am.
And hon, I've done everything I can to make people believe that you're down here.
Yes.
You know, I've made all the authorities believe that you're down here, or that I've told them that you're down here, and you know the trouble I've been having trying to get help. And this is us. This is help. This is it.
I am the help. Help me.
Yeah.
Help you.
Yes.
Please.
You know, we just want to help you so bad. So bad. Here's the thing. Just because we find a body part, I mean, she can cross over whenever she wants.
Oh yeah,
I mean, there's no.
She has to go there.
Yeah.
It would just help us to get put her family at ease. I mean, you don't have to cross until you're good and ready, girl. I will be available to you anytime that you come to me and let me know that that's what you want to do. There she is.
Hey, baby. Okay.
Thank you, honey. Come a little harder. Grab it a little more.
Give me a hug. I'm sorry, hon. I'll back off.
It stopped. Oh yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, honey.
That was awesome.
Yes, it
Hon, I'll back off. Hon, I'm sorry.
I'm so proud of you for
That was
doing
awesome.
that for us. Thank you. Thank you.
She was just showing us that she understands what you're saying, that she
Yes.
gets it.
Yes.
She gets it.
That was awesome.
Yes. Praise.
All of a sudden, I just saw flashing underneath my eyes down there. I looked down, and it's just flashing away.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like solid. It was just like flashing.
Yes. Yes.
Hon, thank you.
Thank you, honey. That's what we
Thank
asked her
you.
for, and she did it.
Thank you. You know, I'll sleep better tonight.
Me too.
All right, because I know you're with us.
Yes.
And we're going to find you.
I'm looking forward to spending some time with you tomorrow.
And we're going to find you.
Yay.
Hon.
Yay.
This
Take
is
a nice
almost over
little
for
walk
you.
together.
And I never thought that maybe you didn't want to cross yet. But honey, that doesn't mean you have to go. I'm so glad you thought of that, Greg. It's sad what happened, but what's waiting for you is so superior. I mean, whew, there she is. Yay, girl. Right on, girl. Right on. You're such a good girl. You're such a good girl. Thank you, honey.
Oh, I can feel you on my shoulder.
Yeah, see? She likes men of your height. Yeah, she's very attracted to you because one thing, your height. Other things as well, I'm sure, but you're just the right to drape herself. She was about 5'5". So.
Should I turn off the camera, Greg?
Huh?
Should I turn off the big camera?
Yeah, go ahead and just stop it or whatever, yeah.
But I don't, it's something I don't know.
I heard it.
Did you hear?
We may be getting our Bigfoot experience, guys.
We may, because I asked for it, honey. I asked for it.
There's Bigfoot in Colorado. It's not like
Are there known to be
Yes.
here? Okay.
I wasn't expecting Bigfoot out here, but when I heard those Bigfoot steps, you guys, that's totally where my mind
That
went.
was, yeah. I wish I'd have heard it. All I could hear was the heater.
It didn't sound like elk,
because they move with 4 feet.
Right, right.
It sounded like bipedal.
Bipedal.
And it
I
couldn't
do
have been
know.
more than like 30, 40 feet behind the car.
And I do believe that somehow the spirits and Bigfoot and our friends, they're all related somehow. I don't know what.
We were just talking about that today.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but they are. I know that.
It's becoming more and more evident that Bigfoot and some of this paranormal stuff are somehow connected. So you really do sense something?
I do.
You don't.
I do.
That you don't know?
I don't know what it is. It's something different than anything I've ever seen. And it's a master at hiding.
Dude.
Yeah.
When she said that, man, that just made my whole head tingle.
Yeah.
Because that now I know what we got.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
We need to get out. Well,
Let's do it.
Just trying to find the handle.
Let's do it.
I didn't want to alarm you, but I'm going to go ahead and do a couple little whoops.
Yeah. I think they're too close to give a whoop back.
Yeah.
So we would just like to hang out with you, you know? We want to be your friends.
Let's get back in the vehicle and just see if it happens again.
Yeah, it's cold out here.
I got one thing. It asked me, who are you? How do I answer that?
Huh?
Your friends.
Your
We're
friends?
friends, yes. We're friends. In fact, I think our mutual friends may have arranged this. So please, feel free to step forward. I'd like to know what you would want us to call you. Because I have a feeling you don't care for the term Bigfoot. So what should we call you? What would they call you where you're from?
Oma? Did you say?
When these things come through, this telepathy, it's not so much words as just feelings, emotions. It's like you get the gist of what they're saying, and it like becomes English words in your mind, if that makes any sense at all.
Now I hear grunting. I don't think it's you guys can hear it, but I hear a series of like that, deep. I can't even get that deep, but I don't know if that's trying to say yes. I think you might be, if not exactly that, it's something very much like that.
We made contact with Monica tonight, and Monica warmed up to Dan tonight.
Yes.
But then, as we were sitting there, we started hearing movement around the vehicle, and I mean large movement. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard some howls, I heard a growl, and I mean this shit has never happened. I'm sorry, but Sue, this shit's never happened between when we're out there.
on the ranch. Never.
No, I think this was for Dan.
Yes.
This was for Dan.
We're in contact with the Grays. All right. We came in contact with Monica on this ranch. And now we're coming in contact with Sasquatch on this ranch. I mean, it doesn't even seem feasible. It really doesn't.
So Greg and I are actually in contact with the family of 5 Oma.
What we're getting is there's one male adult, one female adult, one juvenile around 17 or 18, and 2 about 6 and 8 years old.
We were told at one point that the father was 1,000 years in our 1,000 of our years. Now, time is different places, but I don't care how you shake it up. That's a lot of years.
So we started gifting Oma in October of 2020.
Dan's got
a bag of apples. I'm gonna go down here and deploy them. All right, here we are.
Hello.
At the place. Gonna go check the apples that we just put out here a couple hours ago. Just, you know, odds are they haven't done nothing here, but thought we'd just give it a check. Let's see. Oh, they're still here. They're still here. Like I had said, we haven't given them hardly any time at all. I only put them out here a couple hours ago.
We started gifting, and we would go out to the ranch and we would ask them if they took the apples, and they said no. And I'd go into the gifting area, I'd throw the old apples away because they'd still be there. And I'd throw them away and I'd put in new apples. And this went on till about December. Dan said that it could take up to 2 years for them to start taking our gifts.
Okay. It's Greg Feinman with UR Investigations. I'm here at the waterway, and I'm here to gift apples to Oma. All right, I got 9 apples. I spent a lot of time making sure I got the best apples. I washed them. Spent about 5 to 10 minutes on each apple, washing them and taking care of them, and really putting love into them, because I hope they sense that, because I really want them to feel that I took extra care in picking the right apples, and that I inspected each one. Put the apples right there, and I couldn't fit them all, so I put one right there.
Dan went home. It told me, well, next time you go out, take a bite out of the apple.
Oma. Oma. I left apples. Fresh apples. I love you guys. And I'd only give you good apples. I took time making sure they were the perfect apples.
And at first they wouldn't take the apples. At first they didn't, I don't know, they probably just weren't sure. But then after Greg took a bite out of one, it was like, well, I guess it's on.
Give me a good experience with Oma today, Lord. I ask all this in your name, and I pray. Oh, one other thing, Lord. Please fill my friends in the sky, fill their love, their hearts and their bodies with the love that I know you can give, Lord. Please do that for me. They deserve it. I'm here to gift apples, and I'm going to play some music for them and just see what happens. And I'm not expecting anything really magical to happen today. I just want to gift them apples. I was supposed to do it earlier, and I haven't, and not been feeling up to it, and so now I'm here. So I'm going to leave everything recording.
So I went into the gifting area, and there was no apples.
Going down there right now. Oh, they're gone. There's nothing there. They're all gone. Even those.
One thing I forgot to mention, and maybe I already said it, was, Omaha's planetless.
Fitz has let us know that Omaha is serving them not because they have to, but out of gratitude.
When Greg started this investigation, I thought it was all about Mutilation Ranch. I thought it was all about the cattle mutilations. And that's where I thought it was going to end. Now it's like the story of everything. And it's all encompassing. I don't even know how to describe it.
I don't think there's one particular person that we're in contact with as much as it is the race that we're in contact with. That's what it's led to is where we're at right now. And I'm just trying to find my place in this.
Fitz, thank you so much for letting us be some of the ones that will tell the world about what's going to happen.
So Fitz stands for Friends in the Sky.
They are good. They are the tall grays. And it just upsets me when I hear people trying to make them sound like they're so evil and bad. They're not. They're not.
What we do know of them is they're full of love and compassion. I asked Mama Sue to please ask them what we can call them because I don't feel comfortable calling them the Grays. So we asked them, what can we call you? Well, Mama Sue picked up to call them Friends.
I think right now, Greg would like to talk to you. Can you tell some of the things on your mind, Greg?
Yeah, I'm filled with questions. I put all my faith in you, but I could really use like a little verbal hug, saying that I'm doing the right thing, that we're on the right track, that, I think about this day and night. It doesn't stop for me. It's in my dreams and it's, in my waking moments. Every moment I've got has to do with this project.
Greg was chosen long time ago, as I believe I was and Dan was too.
Mama Sue called me one day and she was crying. She says, Greg, I got something to tell you. I'm like, what? I thought something was wrong with her. She goes, Fitz is the one that gave you rheumatoid arthritis.
Greg's life has been a test of his character. And he's always passed because he is a man of high character. He's had some hard times, just as we all have, but he's got a heart of gold, and he would not compromise himself for anybody, Now,
I woke up with rheumatoid arthritis overnight in 2008, and a month later I had to retire disabled. I lost my marriage. I lost my career. I lost my house, my cars. I lost my dog. All right. I lost my dog. And she said that they did it to teach you humility. I had to learn humility. And I had to find the Lord, those two things.
You had faith in me, and I'm grateful for what you did. Yes. And showing me humility and teaching me humility. I needed to learn that, and I am a happier person with myself today than I ever have been.
I get to talk to you guys, and I have you. You're my friends. Right. I get to say you're my friends. You get to, Who gets to say that?
I know. That's pretty special. That is real special.
They mean more to me than pretty much any earthly thing going on, man. You know, like there ain't a possession that I have that means more to me than what they mean.
Right.
And I'm grateful for the fact that they've loved me this long, you know, to stick with me, that they didn't give up on me. That's why I'm never going to give up on them.
Exactly.
They didn't give up on me. And man, I went through there had to be some times that you were questioning if I was ever going to get my crap together. They told us about time and how they can manipulate time. All right. And it came to me, this graph that they told me to make. Fitz tells me to do things here and there. This is relation to time and space, and they wanted me to do something that represents how they can manipulate time. I don't know exactly how, but they do it. But how they're showing me how it's possible. Okay. And it started off by having me draw this. All right, this represents time. Time, they said, is not linear. Time fans out in all different directions. All right, it doesn't go. I mean, it also. But if you see this, you'll see a pattern, and it seems to be heading that way. All right, but just because I do this doesn't mean I know exactly what I'm doing. All right, it's just what they're telling me to do. And then what I wrote on the back is these numbers are for our benefit. The numbers are only here so we can grasp the concept of how they can manipulate time. If you look at let's just pick anywhere. Let's just pick, I'm just gonna go point right here. That 11 right there, that box. All right. Now that 11, if I was to take everything off of this, all right, all these numbers away, but I put that 11 there, this whole thing would be the same exact paper. It'd be the same. But see, the thing is, you need to know what that number is. All right, be able to pop in.
He's been my friend my entire life. There is no way in HE double hockey sticks that Greg Feinman came up with this. There's just no way. There's no way. This is really complicated.
So what you're saying is,
I'm just saying this came
Greg
from
was never
somewhere
really
else.
known for his like, hey, let's talk about math.
Yeah.
No. And I'm just saying that, I mean, I don't think anybody that I know could have come up with this, but most especially Greg Feinman would not have come up with this. This came from somewhere else. I can vouch for that.
They said that.
Guaranteed.
They said that time travel, that accessing your memory is a rudimentary form of time travel.
Right.
And that time travel is accessing the Earth's recordings. And we know that the Earth records because there's such thing as a residual haunting. Now, in this dimension, it goes, you got the word spirit, all right, and you flip it over, nothing, all right? Well, let's say you record something with a little more emotion, a little more anger, a little more, I don't know what it is, maybe anger or emotion or whatever it is, but whatever it does, it embeds it in more, and when it does, you turn it around, you can actually see it bleeding through. And it's bleeding through not only this way, but in a mirror image. And it's just barely able to seep through. You're able to see it just a little bit. That's how a residual haunting works, you know. But it's all because the Earth records everything. And I don't know this stuff. This is what they're telling me. And when they take me, all right, what they're able to do is break into my dimension, all right, our dimension, and take me into theirs. When they put me back in the same second that they took me. all right, because they're not coming from our time. Multiple times they've shown how they can manipulate clouds and how they come in taking the cows looking like a low-lying cloud. So I'm just checking that cloud out. It was a little denser before. Kind of odd. Fitz said that it's more important now to be a good person than ever. All right. They've told us some things that's going to be happening. Soon, we believe that Fitz, or they told us that they have one collective thought. So when you're talking to one, you're talking to them all. So in September of 2020, Fitz spilled the beans on the cattle mutilations. And that's when they told us that, you know, OMA is the ones that choose which bovine is next to be killed. Well, that being said, we were on top of cloud nine, me and Sue, that they told us that. And we asked them, you know, we went out the next night to investigate, you know, talk to them, and they told us why they're doing the cattle mutilations. In order for anyone to listen to us, all right, you know, something has to happen that gets everyone's attention. And I believe Monica was down there for that reason alone. Because nothing on this ranch happens by accident, Tom.
Yeah. If you can find those bones, or if they can bring them up to you or something, that's going to break everything.
Yeah, and they know that. I know they know that.
We feel like when all this story comes out, the whole story, that her bones will then be found. And that's so important because the girl is not at rest.
I am under the belief, and I believe I'm right on this, that they have had her body parts all along. And that when they went in the river that night, they took possession of them. And that they're going to release them when they are ready for this to come out. She's here to vindicate you.
Yes.
Okay, but we don't. So we got to ask our friends when is her body going to turn up? Am I on the right track? Do I need to keep going looking for answers? Because everywhere I'm going is turning up snake eyes. We're not here to solve her murder. No. I know we're not here to cross her over. I know that we're here, all right, for this message. Vindicate you.
Yes.
You know, we know what we're learning what our role is. Well, what is our role? Why are you telling us? What are we going to do about it?
Exactly.
How are people going to listen to us if we can't even get people close to us to give a shit about what we're doing?
People won't listen to us. But with Kika's
body turning up,
yes.
You know darn well this is going to go nationwide if her body turns up.
Yes. Yes.
You know, just please. And when are they going to give us visual confirmation?
Yes.
That's that.
Oh boy, that's a biggie. We want so much to see you. We want so much.
And it's not we. All right, if we're going to get this message out, we have to have the best UFO footage ever. Of them in the sky, and that we have contact with them.
That's right.
You know, we got to do that.
Yeah.
If they want this message out, that has to happen.
Yes.
And it's not because I know they're here. I don't need that.
Same
but people need to see it, and they know that people are going to need to see it, and they're going to be asking us questions.
Yes.
You know,
they can believe. They can believe because if it's coming from me, it's believable.
I think my battery died.
So we all got here. We're here to film this documentary and try to tell Greg's story from beginning to end. Well, there is no end yet, from beginning till now. And the other night we had to do an impromptu investigation right here inside the house. We weren't planning on it. I took Sue over to the computer to show her a video I had taken just a couple days prior when Greg and I were the only ones here. We went out to Mutilation Ranch and we had some activity where Monica had our K2 meter going off, and we just wanted to show that footage to Sue. So we're over there, and Sue and I both at the same time started getting dizzy and disoriented. So I actually caught her from falling down at one point. She had lost her balance, and so I'm holding her. We put her in the chair, and like I say, I was also feeling dizzy and disoriented. It was a really strange feeling. In fact, at one point, I walked away from Sue because for some reason I thought that what I was feeling was emanating off of her.
Weird. I don't like it. I don't like it. And they,
I mean, yeah, I feel like
I did have a vision.
Like I just like. Do you need something to drink?
I had a vision before coming here
Your hands are
of a different type of an alien that looked like a bug. It looked like a bug. I don't know how else
You had a
to
vision
explain.
of
Like an alien tribe, but it had eyes that were up here, like detached, but up here. Does that make sense? Is there something like that? Have they seen something?
Insecticide.
Like an insect. It looks like an insect. Oh, shit. I don't know that means anything. I'm just saying, why I had that vision, I don't know.
I feel like I need to get away from Sue for a second. Just
Yeah. I'm scared to stand up because I'm so unstable right now.
It's not changing it though.
And this caused some alarm with everybody in the house, and we went ahead and pulled out the equipment. We got the spirit box out, and we're listening to it. And whatever was here, kind of aggressive, kind of abrasive.
Right.
I hear you. Again, hear me.
You're here. None of us fear you. And you just need to step forward and talk to us. I can hear. Who is in this house? You've got to touch this device that I'm holding in my right hand to let me know that you're here.
What's up? What's up?
Oh my God.
What's up?
Something was coming at me. Oh my God.
I've got you. I've got you. Stand back. Nothing's allowed to touch you.
It ran at me. And it had red eyes.
We've got you.
Please, dear Lord, protect us, Father God.
And Sue was attacked by something that came flying out of the corner and through the living room and into the dining area where Sue was. And Sue turned with horror on her face. She says, "Oh shit." And she turns and runs into Ryan's arms over in the hallway. And Ryan caught something with his camera when he flipped around to catch her.
Oh my God.
What's up?
Something was coming at me.
Well, as my buddy Ed says, I don't put much credence into orbs generally. I'm pretty sure usually that it's just dust particles or a lens flare. And most of the time when I see something that's presented as an orb, I can see right away that it's not. But because of the way this thing moved so independently of the camera, it's very, very compelling.
Whoever this is needs to touch this device that's in my hand right now. Why are not? How come you're not stepping forward to me? Why are you not stepping forward to me? I'm the reason all this is happening.
It's because you're the most in tune. You have the biggest antenna that they can see.
Yeah.
Like the lighthouse in the fog.
He gets very upset when I get hurt. It's annoying that Greg's role in this whole thing is more important than anybody. And that is why he does not get attacked. He's being protected. It's not that they wouldn't want to protect me as well, but Greg is definitely protected.
So originally we thought this investigation was going to be about the cattle mutilations. And little did we know the cattle mutilations were going to be a side story and that we were going to get a message about the end of the world.
When I first found out, I just want to throw this in there, that the world was coming to an end, I did go into a state of depression for about a month. I did not leave my home. I did not speak to anybody. I was just like, why would you tell me this? But I believe that ultimately the reason I'm involved was to help Greg get to the point that he is at now with finding out about his own abilities. He's able to communicate directly with Fitz through telepathy. And I think that was really my main job here. And I'm glad to do it.
And I haven't, to be honest with you, I don't know what my job is, but they told me to study the Bible because I'm going to need to know it. And since then, I've gotten ordained as a minister. And my head is in the Bible 24/7, pretty much.
Okay, I'm gonna be brave, and I'm going to ask our friends. The news that you gave me last time I was here about the world ending, and what I didn't understand was what our involvement is. If you can make that clear to me, it would help me to get there sooner. Is there a plan for us? Can we stop it from happening at this point if we do something to change what's happening? Is it a cataclysmic event that happens? Is the water going to be poisoned instantaneously as well as the air be tainted so badly? We'll lose the quality of air soon. That's all they're saying, soon. So what does that mean? What's going to happen that's going to make our air tainted? There are so many things that our fellow man is doing right now that are secret experiments, and it could happen anytime. The quality of air. Did I see correctly when I saw a visual of us everybody walking around with breathing machines? Yes.
It's done by an experiment?
Yes.
What are they experimenting with?
What are they experimenting with? Chemicals. Oh my God. They are actually thinking of a chemical warfare.
Who?
Our government.
To who?
To who?
China. And that's going on right now.
Is that going to mess up our air quality here too?
Is that going to mess our air quality here too? Everywhere on Earth.
When they do it there, it's going to mess everywhere up.
Yes. It's chemical warfare, and all they have to do is let that out, and man, it'll spread like wildfire.
What's their goal for doing that?
Yeah.
Getting rid of China?
Yeah.
But it's going to end up killing all of us.
Yeah. 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 This could happen very soon, is what they're telling me.
Anything?
Just tell them.
That's fine.
Tell them what you got when they said the world's going to end, and then they stopped giving us information. So they give us this, and they give us this information in two separate investigations. The first night they said the world's going to end as we know it. Life will be over as we know it. It's over. And
then they
soon.
went on to tell me that the world was going to implode, and they gave me a visual, and I mean, it shook me up. Something terrible. The actual Earth as a ball like this will then be like a crumpled piece of paper with nothing being able to live on the Earth again. And it is biblical that the Earth will be destroyed.
So when they told us that, I said, well, what's our job then? What do we do? Do we tell people? No. Tell the right people. Tell them what? Well, tell them that to get right with God, to develop a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, because that's only going to save them. And I said, well, what am I for? I mean, what you said you chose me for this? For this? They said, no, you're for later. You're for later.
And
after this event.
That's about all they've told us so far as what Greg's part will be, but it's big.
And they also told Sue to tell me that they're going to make it up to me for getting me sick. They told Sue, and they not only told her, they showed her. They took her and they took me one night. Again, they've taken us a couple times together, and they showed Mama Sue the body that I'm going to be going in, that they're going to be putting me in. And she said it was biological, that she got to touch it. And she said, but when she touched it, she could feel that it was skin, like it was real skin, but that under the skin it felt mechanical, so to speak. And she said they're going to be putting me in that body.
They drained the blood. I mean, just like, it was just like that, just out. And they think that they need to use that. They're trying to, oh my God, is that what's going on? They are trying to create life. Oh my God. Thinking that they can use bovine blood for something that would appear to be human. When Greg gets taken, I think then it's going to be up to Dan and I to continue on with this. I believe at that point, the bones will be found. People will know that my story is true. These are things that right now people are, they don't know. But it's going to come out. Everything will come out.
We believe that when this event occurs, that this is the beginning of the tribulation. We're not sure, but we believe Jesus is going to be coming really soon. And they've alluded to that fact, but no one knows but the Father. And he will come as an ark of fire.
And everyone that's still in their sin will be burned, but the ones that are all in Christ will be refined.
The bottom line is, though, that they have shared this with us so that we can share with people that there is still time to develop a relationship with Jesus so that you can continue on.
It says in 2 Thessalonians 4:17 that we that are still alive and are left are going to be caught up together in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. Now, why would they say clouds when they said air? Okay, they said clouds because clouds are they're the mechanism. They're the mechanism. We're going to be caught up together in the clouds. You think we're going to be playing solitaire up there in the clouds? No, there's something there. Fitz is the mechanism. All right, and they have a relationship with God that we can only wish to have.
Yes. There's still time to get right with God. And if you do, you might be one of the fortunate ones to make it to the new world and at least to heaven. I mean, you can't go wrong either way. But it's time to start living life right. And that is that's the message from them.
A couple times, and they said that she's got a really high ammonia content in her body, and they said that's because her liver is failing. And then he continued by saying, basically, you're dying, and there's not a whole lot we can do. And Sue thinks she might have 6 months, maybe a year, but there's no actual prognosis of a time, but just said that she's dying.
Well, what is needed is we have to go back to Colorado and we have to find Monica's remains. So that is what happens next. Guys, we are going back to Colorado. We are going to find Monica's remains. Because finding Monica's remains is the only thing we need to prove everything that's been said so far in this entire film is accurate.